he had an expression, until he gets his ducks in a row, he wouldn't sort of, set off doing anything. So he could make quite a lot of plans, and then the middle of '91 he let it be known that he would like to buy the club, and he thought he could move it forward.
We knew he meant business because in '87 they made a bid for Gary Lineker from Tottenham for £2 million, and actually Tottenham kind of laughed at the bid, as much as to say, Blackburn, Gary Lineker, they don't go together.
Blackburn being Blackburn, the national papers didn't take the guy seriously, and I'll never forget the time when he tried to buy Gary Lineker, and Tottenham didn't take him seriously. Lineker's agent didn't take him seriously. They thought it was all a publicity stunt. The fact of the matter is that Jack Walker could have bought Tottenham, never mind Gary Lineker, and people did take him seriously very quickly.
The minute he walks in the joint, I can see you of distinction, a real big fan.
Jack needed the world of football to sit up and take notice. On October the 12th, 1991, they did. One of the game's most gifted players and managers took the Ewood Park helm. In Kenny Dalglish, he'd not only hired a shrewd footballing brain, but a man whose pedigree would convince the game's highest calibre players that Rovers was the place to be. Stage one of Jack Walker's master plan for a Rovers return was now secured.
Yes, we needed a manager who was going to be a catalyst to bring the players to Blackburn Rovers, because Blackburn Rovers hadn't the profile that Jack wanted, and Kenny proved to be that catalyst.
Kenny Dalglish, to bring Kenny Dalglish to Blackburn, I remember having trouble getting that story in the newspaper because, again, nobody believed it. Kenny Dalglish going to Blackburn? What did he want to go to Blackburn for? But it happened, and the rest is history.
We still had a job to sell a club, and when we came down here to show people where the training ground was going to be, there was a cricket pavilion in the middle and totally overgrown. So, as I say, it was dreams that had to be fulfilled, but the man kept his word, and that pleased a lot of people, and ourselves included. They could see the development taking place at Ewood, so they knew that they were serious.
The 1992 Second Division playoff final at Wembley for the winners a place in the newly formed Premier League. The dream was coming more sharply into focus.
The two clearest shooting chances coming within a minute of each other. Newell for Blackburn and then Mills for Leicester. And here's Newell setting up Speedy for another. Sellers is in the middle. Speedy's got past Walsh, has he? Penalty. George Courtney had no hesitation. David Speedy in the last minute of the first half has won a penalty for Blackburn Rovers. It'll be Mike Newell who scored a really vital penalty at Tranmere to lift Blackburn's season last month. Mike Newell against Carl Muggleton. They're on the way! Applause from the manager. Delight for the players. Mike Newell. Mike Newell back defending, everybody back defending. Thompson in towards Walsh, headed by Moore, and who else? Gary Mills. The referee looks at the watch again. That's it. Going up, going up, going up. Blackburn Rovers have made it at last, and the great Ewood gamble by Jack Walker on Kenny Dalglish has paid out the Premier Prize. But after more than 25 years out of the big time, they've sealed their return on the big stage here at Wembley, and the broadest smile in football belongs to Kenny Dalglish.
Even as Kevin Moran led his team up the famous 39 steps to pick up the playoff trophy of '92, plans were forming to move the club on. After all, achieving top-flight status was merely another base camp on the summit of Jack's dreams.
He's the kind of man, if he says something, you jump and you have to fulfil what he wants. And I remember him the day Blackburn were promoted, a playoff final at Wembley, very emotional day, and everybody was hailing Jack Walker. That was his first step in his miracle. And in the press room immediately afterwards, 10 minutes, 20 minutes after the game, he said, "Oh, next season we want to qualify for Europe." He was that type of guy.
He was a taskmaster. He liked things done right, he liked things done properly, but he was a pleasure to work for and he's a pleasure to work with, because he gave you 100% support. People aren't always right when they work, but you know, he was a gaffer, but you know, he would give everybody in the place 110% of his support at all times.
All he wanted was the team to get into Europe and him to have a little room where he could bring his friends and his family to watch the game. They were the two things that he wanted back from what he was going to put in eventually to Blackburn Rovers.
He was an old guy even then, let's be fair, he was in his 60s even then. He didn't want to wait for the glory, he wanted it, and he was willing to pay for it, and he got it in incredible speed.
Pay for it he did, as a team of international superstars was assembled under the guidance of Dalglish. If Kenny wanted a piece to fit the championship jigsaw, Jack Walker would find the funds. Money really was no object. Almost weekly, a new top-quality edition was unveiled. Rovers fans were loving it. Some of Britain's finest served up by Uncle Jack.
We bought some really good young players for very little money at the time, and it was the place to be. You know, Alan Shearer came here, possibly turned down bigger clubs than Blackburn to come here, and everybody in the football world saw what was happening at Blackburn, and it was the place to be. And it was only the place to be because of Jack's money, and everybody saw that this was the club that were going places.
Shearer, we know he can shoot from that distance. What a goal!
Blackburn's brightest star was undoubtedly Alan Shearer. He'd chosen Blackburn over Manchester United, convinced by Walker's dream.
Very, very proud man, very honest man, very determined man, and a winner. And Jack, whatever he'd done, wanted to be successful at it, whether he was playing cards, or whether he's doing his silly little games with his coins that he always used to do for us in the dressing room. He wanted to win, and but more importantly, he wanted to win for Blackburn, because that was one of the most important things in his life, and he'd spent so much time and energy and cash putting Blackburn on the map.
He came in on the match day with the chairman, just went around the players, wished them all the best. Had one or two jokes with the players sometimes, and then off he went up and nervously watched the match.